Hello everyone and welcome to Skincare with Hyram. If you don't know who I am, my name is Hyram and I'm passionate about teaching you how to perfect your skincare routine. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you can see my videos every single week. There you go. Good job. That was great. Guys, it's Michelle Phan. I am so excited to have you on my channel. Thank you so much. Yes, there you go. You are essentially the queen of beauty YouTube, the original makeup tutorials, DIY hacks. If you guys haven't seen, there's a video on my channel where I react to your skincare hacks.
Dude, that's hilarious. I was like, yeah, he right.
I'm glad he didn't get offended.
No, not at all. I'm like, that's good content. Like you were saying, that was during like the 2008 financial crisis. People were trying to figure out DIY stuff, things you can do in your fridge. And I was like, lemon scrub? Yeah, my skin probably suffered from that like 12 years ago.
Well, you have beautiful skin, so I'm glad to see it's recovered. We happen to connect while I'm here in LA, and it's been such a cool connection, like being able to talk with you. I didn't realize, there's like people who you like get along with, and then there's people who you like vibe with. And I feel like you're someone like I really vibe with. Like it's a cool, I don't know if you guys know, like it's that energy.
You feel it. Your heart feels it and everything. Like instantly the moment I saw him, I just knew I'm gonna know this guy and my energy is gonna sync with him. And we've been talking nonstop. Like, before this video, we shot my video, but like even like in between breaks, we're still just, we're just talking a lot. It's so fun.
It's great. This girl is smart. You should give yourself more credit because you're very intelligent. No, it's just cool. And it's been really cool connecting. And I'm super excited to have you on my channel because like one thing I think is so cool about you and makes you unique is that you're a brand founder and not just of one brand. You have been through the experience of multiple brands. And if you guys didn't know, I just launched my skincare brand.
It's really good. I tried it last night and I just love how thoughtful the ingredients, the packaging, like I just love how it's sustainable. It just has a really good story and you feel good. You feel good supporting your brand. So Selfless by Hyram. Make sure to buy. Available at Sephora.com.
Wow, thank you. With the amount of time that you've been in the industry, because she has her own cosmetics brand. Here it is.
Cosmetics.
M Cosmetics. And it's cool because it's like skincare and makeup fusion. Like both of them like fused together with some really cool ingredients like Serum blush has like squalane in it and stuff. Like really, really cool. I love supporting content creator brands because I just know the struggle of like trying to create content while also trying to create a brand and trying to like create products that specifically cater to like what your subscribers want and everything. And I feel like you just have like a wealth of knowledge and I kind of want to like pick your brain about what that's been like and your values and how you've gone about creating brands. So like tell me a little bit about I know kind of like your history, like with Ipsy and with
Oh gosh, my whole history. I actually started a skincare brand a long time ago, even before L'Oreal. It was something I was doing on the side. I didn't really expect much from it, but that was when I was starting to learn about sunscreen and what goes into it. And like there's a lot that happened in the past year where we're learning like, wow, this is definitely like, not that it's unregulated, but there's a lot of red tape around in this industry and like testing and regulations. This is why like it's important for people like you. People go to you for recommendations and everything. Like we didn't really have that when I started off on YouTube. It was very different. With skincare, there's still a lot of misinformation. And so I think like as a brand owner, I was really trying my best to kind of navigate through this space where there's misinformation. Like how do I bring value to my viewers and also like the viewers who want to also purchase and support my brand. I also need to educate myself too and like make better products that reflect what I believe in and my values. Yeah, it's been just an amazing journey because I also made a lot of mistakes along the way too. But I think like those mistakes taught me so much more than winning, if that makes sense. Like sometimes I feel like failure, you learn so much more about yourself than if you're always like, winning, like killing it.
And that's such a healthy way to look at it too, because I remember reading a book called The Obstacle is the Way, where it goes through like all the prominent like world changers and goes through like each of the obstacles and like the failures that they had before they changed the world. And it totally shifted my perspective to where I was like, not that I'm necessarily excited to fail, but when you fail and when you mess up, you're able to like learn so much about like what to do, and it makes you such like a stronger, better person. I mean, when developing a cosmetics brand, there's so much that goes into it. Like there's so many little things, every single ingredient and where it's coming from and how it's made and the manufacturing and the chemistry and, and especially with sunscreen, because you have the
Daydream cushion. Oh, that's Moonbeam.
Oh,
but Daydream
Moonbeam.
cushion. Yeah, Daydream cushion. It took us 2 years to develop this, making sure that everything was properly regulated, the testing for SPF. Because if you claim any SPF, it has to go through proper regulations. And yeah, it's a process, but that's the thing, like, it's important to make sure that that's why these processes exist, because if they don't exist, how do you know it even works, right? a lot of learning, a lot of failure, but I would say like overall net positive. I don't even consider it my company, even though it is, like I fully own it, but I'm co-creating with my teammates and we're creating together, and we have a really small team and it's like a family, because I went from L'Oreal, which is massive and big and hundreds of people, to small, like 14 people. That's it. Like we all know each other, we're friends, so cool. And everything. It's a family. So I really believe that the future is going more towards creator brands, because there's just intention. There's intention, there's thoughtfulness, there's the real value, and there's a soul, you know? There's a soul in this product, and it's no longer just a product, it's part of you.
And that's one thing that I love with what you were talking about before with your brand or with your work, is the intention. I think that's so important, because you have to have your why, you know, you have to have
Absolutely.
That thing that like drives you. And I'd love to know, like, what would you say are your biggest like values and your whys and your intentions? Because I know you set intentions, and I'm curious kind of like what those things are.
Actually, that's something that I think I watched in a TED Talk.
Yes.
This person, right?
I love
start
Simon
with why.
Sinek.
Yes.
Yeah,
start with why. And I would say my why is, it's actually value. It's like, how can I bring value to this space? If I can't elevate the space, if I can't bring value, then there's really no point in me being in it. I'd rather support a brand that's already doing it, right? And I think for myself, I wanted to elevate the beauty experience. I felt like during my transition where I was trying to fully own it, makeup was really, at the time, it was about like covering yourself up. It was the trends. It was just like, it's fun. I love the artistry of it, but I felt like I wish there was an in-between where you can take care of yourself. There's products that are formulated with really good ingredients, so you don't feel bad putting it on. Because even like when I started off with makeup tutorials, people would say, oh, like, why are you putting makeup on your face? It's so bad for your skin, right? Like you hear that it's bad for your skin. It's like, it's only bad if you don't take care of your skin.
Yes.
But it's kind of true. Like I wish more makeup had more skincare benefits in it. We want to be very intentional with our formulations and everything, and I could see it also with your brand too. Like you care so much about the integrity of the ingredients, and so that's definitely one of my brand values, is just integrity of ingredients and formulations, bringing value again to the space, elevating it, and having moments of magic when you're putting makeup on. There's that self-careness, that magic moment where you're loving yourself.
I love those, because especially when it comes to like ingredients and like the quality of the formulation, because I think so much in the cosmetics industry what we see is like people just creating formulas and just throwing it out there and seeing what works, and just mass producing and not really focused on the innovation aspect, which is one of the things that I love about like true creator brands, is that you can see the magic.
We care.
Because you care
really care
so much about it. And I think that's the thing even for our ingredients. Like one of my favorite parts of like building, you know, the products out is being able to see like all the different suppliers, going to each and every supplier and saying, okay, what are your sustainability aspects? How are your sourcing standards? And like asking all the questions and me deciding like which supplier do I want to go with for this specific ingredient. And then to watch it become like a full product. It's a cool
literally your
experience.
babies. These are all your babies.
And I'm sure it's the same thing like with yours. It's the embodiment of so much passion and hard work and love and care into like a single product, and doing it on top of everything else that is demanding you as a content creator.
Oh, you would know. Yes. You're going through it right now. I feel like I've already been here, done it. I finished my marathon. I'm just jumping back in it for fun. But yeah, it is a marathon. It's not a race. And that's what I try to tell people too, is sometimes like even at the height of my YouTube career, I felt like I was competing. I needed to be the best. I needed to always have the most numbers and the most views, and was definitely fueled by my ego to win. And then I had to remind myself, you know, life isn't a race. It's not a contest. It's a marathon, and I want to be able to last. And so that was why I took my hiatus. I took care of my mental health and everything. And, you know, we also talked about it. I mean, the video's on my channel, but we really talked about
go watch the video on her channel. We talk about like mental health.
Yeah, take care of yourself, because there's only one you. There's only one you, and no one knows what you're going through more than you. I feel like the term self-centered is it's considered negative, but I don't think it's negative because you're centering yourself. You're just recentering yourself. And I think we need to be more that positive aspect of being self-centered in a way.
I love that. I remember my brother like telling me like back when I was struggling like with mental health, he stressed the importance of like, you are not going to be able to contribute to the world in a positive way unless you're able to put your health and your emotions, center yourself first before anything else. I used to be someone who was just like, always focus on other people, don't focus on yourself. Focusing on yourself is being selfish, only kind of like feeds the ego and everything. But there is a distinction between making sure you're there for yourself and you put yourself and your mental health and your emotions as top priority while still, embracing other people and doing other things. I think there is a balance. And that's kind of like with selfless, like one of the reasons I wanted to name it selfless was not necessarily saying that these products are the embodiment of perfect selflessness, but more so just kind of speaking to the mission and the message of just always finding ways where we can look to be more selfless, but also recognizing that it's a constant. It's something that is always focused on progression, something that is more a self-commitment rather than a perfect standard that you have to reach.
It's the pursuit of it. That makes it noble, a noble journey. It's not about being it 100%. Pursuing it more can only better your life. Not too much though. Not too much.
It's balance in all things.
Balance,
That's literally like the quote I say to myself all the time is like balance in all things. Like everything should be a balance. Well, and speaking to that too, because you have been through so much in this industry. You have seen the beginning, you saw its conception. You saw, where it is now, the growth and everything. This is an industry where it's hard to be balanced, and it's hard to also find that with your mental health. And you talked about how like mental health is something that's really important to you. For mental health specifically, like what about it like makes you so passionate about talking about the importance of mental health, and like why is that something that resonates with you so much?
My own perspective, me being Asian American and also Asian cultures, from my experience, mental health is marginalized in Asia and also in the Asian culture. Normally it's like, oh, mental health, like, oh, you're sick in the head. It's like, go to an asylum. It's so black and white. It's so extreme, the view of it. It's not the concept of, no, like, I'm not feeling good in my head. I'm so stressed out, and I'm told to suppress my emotions, suppress my traumas, don't even talk about it, don't even revisit it, just erase it. And you can't really erase and back burner those things for too long until it starts boiling up in the back and it starts manifesting in really toxic ways. And I know for myself, I unfortunately experienced just toxic parts of myself that I didn't like because I didn't address my mental health. I didn't take it seriously. And I do know for a fact, looking back, I wish that within my own culture that just taking mental health seriously was not so marginalized. I wish there was more support in that community. So I think that's why I care so much about it, and I talk a lot to my friends about it too, who are going through rough times, especially with COVID last year. Like a lot of people, it's really tough because we're meant to be social creatures. As much of a hermit, an introvert as you are, myself included, like it's human nature to connect with others. And how can you connect with others when you can't even connect with yourself? So I didn't connect with myself for the longest time. I felt like my soul was gone, if that makes sense, because all I cared about was my goals, my aspirations, and just achieving things. When we think about it in nature, it's not about achieving things. Like when the birds wake up in the morning, they spend their time like chirping and enjoying the day and then like finding food, if anything, but like there's no social media, there's no like economy, there's no like stock market in nature. And I feel like, why do we put so much pressure on ourselves? People now are taking their mental health more seriously, and they're kind of like, they had time to be introspective during these moments of just asking themselves the question, why? Why do we do these things? Why are we even here? And also, there's this foundation called the JED Foundation, I believe it's JED, and they focus a lot on helping the youth, like teens, transition into adulthood. And that's something that I struggled with, because no one teaches you that in school. A lot of people have anxieties. Like when you hit 25, there's like this thing called quarter life crisis. I don't know.
I just barely turned 25.
Yeah. But dude, you're good. You're good. Like you're fine. Like there's a lot of people, and I know a lot of people who are around that age where they feel so lost, and they don't have purpose, they don't know what to do. They went to school, they went to college, and now no one's hiring them. And it's like 2008 all over again for me. I'm looking at all this like, oh my gosh. It's so imperative to kind of take a step back, reevaluate your life, and also like ask yourself, like, do you want to be this hamster on a wheel that's just running on it because that's what you're told to do? You're told to follow the blueprint of success.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people are realizing life, you can't blueprint life. You know, we're so different and unique, and we have our own expressions and our own ways of being, and we have different values. And so how can you have a blueprint that crams everyone? It's not a one size fit all, you know?
That was such a good response. And I love that organization too, because mental health, I think so many different aspects, we undermine the importance of mental health. I know for me, and I know for a lot of people I know, it's one of those things that you don't realize its importance until you have pushed yourself too far.
Yes.
And then you realize how important it is. Because I was always that person where I'm just like, I'm fine. Like, I'm above my experiences. I've gotten past all the difficult moments. I've turned out fine, everything, until you start noticing like these behaviors and these patterns where you're like, this is not healthy. I know for me, it's like overworking myself. When I had started my YouTube channel and I was just like working all the time and everything, and I'd made a comment in one of my videos of just like, oh yeah, like I'm the type of person who I always like to be working. I never like to stop working. And someone had commented, they were like, do you like working, or is it just a distraction from the mental things that you can't cope with? And I was like, do not snatch my wig like that. But it's true, It's like, for me, I view like work as an escape. For so long, because it is, you know, you're able to think about something
distract
so
yourself.
different. And you know, things like that only work for so long. You have to like at one point either step back and say, I need to prioritize your mental health, or life is going to come and do it for you. You know,
and sometimes when life does it for you, it's a semi truck hitting you. That's what it feels like. And I think that's what happened to me, and that's why I had to just leave. It was so extreme. My experience was so extreme that my remedy was extreme, where I'm just like, I'm just disappearing.
What was that like? Because I will be honest, in building a brand on top of creating YouTube content, it has pushed me to points to where I'm just like, I'm done. I can't create any more content. Like, I'm exhausted. But I'm curious, like, a lot of content creators are really scared to like break out of the algorithm obsession.
I think,
what was it like for you, and like, did it like really help you?
A lot of creators are scared because there's this idea that once you stop uploading, the algorithm is no longer going to favor you and your videos will not get as recommended as much, which is actually true. And people kind of forget because the internet has such a short attention span. On to the next person, on to the next trend. And in a way, like, you feel forgotten. But I think there's a moment where you have to ask yourself, what's more important, trying to be relevant, or I don't want to say destroying your ego, but that's what it felt like at one point, where I was saying goodbye to my online ego. I was faced with this fork in the road where, okay, my career, because I could have done so much more. I know I could have achieved so much more, but you have to ask yourself, what more do I want, right? And what do I actually need as a human being? And it's really time for myself, time to reflect. Because how can you become a better person if you don't even give yourself time to even know what you did wrong? If you think you did everything right,
that's such a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, how can you course correct? And so I had to go through this very painful process of kind of confronting myself, and also like being okay with letting go of something I was so familiar with and I thought was my value, which was fame, notoriety of being this person, this image that I created of myself online, and living up to this image. And so I had to be okay with letting that go. And that was so hard to do because that's all you ever know. I was 10 years into this. Like, you're 3 years into it? And you're already experiencing like just a breath of it, which I think is good because at least you're checking yourself. I didn't check myself back then. I wish I did. I guess I wasn't self-aware back then because I told myself, I'm fine. I'm okay.
It was a different world too, you know? Like, I feel like burnout and mental health and taking care of yourself, especially post-pandemic, it's such a different world than it was however many years ago.
There's more pressure now for sure. Like when he was telling me, like last year he was doing 4 TikToks a day. I was flabbergasted because I know like at the height of when I was updating regularly on YouTube, I think average was like 2 to 3 a week. That's considered good. But like 4 a day, and like people are like, well, TikTok is short. It's like, no, it's still a lot of work though. Like, you have to shoot a lot, you have to edit it down. So it's still work. It's still a lot of your own personal bandwidth you're putting into this. So I was so surprised, and no wonder so many people are getting burnt out And you don't even have to be a creator and you already feel burnt out, right? Like you're like, I can't keep up with everything that's happening in the world, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially after like the pandemic and everything, I feel like so many people started working from home, and then there's no separation of work and personal life. You know, burnout can come in so many different ways. You can be exhausted from work. You can be exhausted from the pressures of social media. I've seen that happen to everyone. People I know who just feel like they have to present a certain image online to their friends and to their family, and you know, the perfect photos and, you know, all this stuff. And after a while that can like build up, and it can be exhausting, you know, but it's something that you got to navigate. And I mean, you seem like you're in a really good place now.
Oh, I'm much better. I mean, I still have a lot of traumas, and I think like it's like exercising. You always have to work at it with your mental health. It's not like, oh, I have a cure-all, it's gone. You have to kind of confront yourself a lot. And it's hard, you know, sometimes it can be uncomfortable. Sometimes that also means having uncomfortable conversations with people. I know my problem was avoidance. I would just avoid problems. And that's so bad. Like I thought, oh, it's better to avoid because at least I don't cause problems. But then it's like, no, you're causing problems. So I had to learn how to just have those uncomfortable conversations.
I can't handle that. I'm the most conflict avoidant person. I'm like, I cannot disrupt the waters. Introspection is like so important. You have to confront the things that you don't like about yourself. You have to confront the things that you need to change, which is some of the hardest things to do, but I have the most respect for people who are able to do that in a healthy way, because it means that you will be changing yourself for the better, changing people in your life, making a positive difference in the world. And like, that's one thing I really like connect with you on. I feel this like desire to like leave a positive impact on the world, which I mean, you already have in a huge way. You're not the type of person who's just like, oh, I did it, peace out, you know, I'm done, you know, sort of thing. Like you continue to want to innovate and do bigger things and like leave a bigger impact, which I think is so cool. And especially like what you were talking about before, like being an Asian American creator, being a prominent figure, I think there's so much value to that, because the amount of people who have grown up in the same, you know, culture as you, the same lifestyle as you, or whatever it may be, face the same challenges as you, like seeing someone like that, you know, represented is so freaking cool. And not to mention, like, you are Miss Entrepreneur in a male dominant like business industry, which I think is so freaking cool.
So fun. So fun.
I am so sorry. That's, I think, another thing I love about the beauty space is the power of so many like women leading it, which I'm grateful to be a part of this industry, you know. But like, I think it's so freaking cool.
You're totally in this industry. Makeup is not makeup, it's self-care. It's under self-care, because you feel good about yourself, you know? And so I totally feel like you've made such an incredible impact in the beauty space. Like you have, and you're just starting, you're so young. So I can't even imagine what you're gonna be like in your 30s. Like meeting you now, like I can't even imagine like Hyram in like, you know, 5 more years, where is he gonna be at? And I know for a fact your values are still gonna be the same, your intentions are gonna be there, where you literally wanna make the world a better place. Like you're not just saying it, you're doing it. And it's showing in your products and everything, and your brand and in your content. And this is only the beginning for you, so I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you. That means more than you know. And like you said, the most important thing to me is just leaving a positive impact on the world, because as humans, that's like the best thing that we can do with our lives. It's just helping others and making the world a better place, you know?
You value these things and you care so much, and you speak up with, you know, you really speak up for your values. And I think that's nice, you know, we should have more of that.
Thank you.
I wish I knew that when I was younger, but I was like, no, I'm going to keep the peace. I'll be nice. And then it turns into being passive aggressive, and that's the worst. And so now, like, that's definitely something that I'm shedding away from. And yeah, I'm kind of embracing more of my Aries side, where there's an art to being honest without being insulting.
So to finish up, I vibe with you hardcore. You are amazing. Like, I did not expect to have like this cool of a connection. And when I'm back in LA, I will definitely be like, hitting you up. Thank you for coming on my channel. This is honestly like such an honor. And I love how relaxed you are, to where it's just like, let's just like have a conversation and make it chill and just like connect and just show that on camera. I think it's so much fun. I'm so glad I got to meet you.
Same.
Best of luck with your brand and everything. Guys, please check out her cosmetics brand and cosmetics.
And don't forget, Selfless. Show some love for Selfless too. I love this cleanser, and I love green tea.
If you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you can see my videos every single week. And I'll see you guys in the next one.